got mixed up, growing tired of knots, tangled up in problems, and not caring enough. Now I'm on a journey to find what's right, always telling the truth, but hiding all the lies. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and there's someone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Let's look in the kitchen and the living room. Nothing to find but what's left from a really great time, which wasn't any of mine. Running away feels like a storm. Let's throw our problems out the door today. Well, I'm finding things clear to me. And don't go thinking I'm being myself. I got other things on my mind, not you or anyone else. This isn't where I wanna be. Whoa, make me see the things on the inside. 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 Don't go thinking I'm being myself. I just act this way around you, and there's someone else. This isn't where I wanna be.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Hey, this is EA J-Man from Autopsy Live and the Skype Pirates. When I want to make it look like I give a shit about sports, I tune into Sports World Radio with Jeff Eskow.
Jeff
Doing bad time. Doing bad time. Got myself a problem.
Live from San Diego, it's Sports World Radio. You've never heard a sports show like this. Oh, no, you haven't. Oh, blow me.
You got it.
Holy fucking shit.
What the hell is your major malfunction?
Can't believe that goddamn son of a bitch did that fucking crap.
Don't give me any of your shit.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Those are your hosts, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann. Remember, those who can't play sports, talk about it. These two tell it like it is. Tune into Sports World Radio for the fastest hour of sports of your life. So here they are, the douchebags of sports themselves, Jeff Ascow and Sean Mann.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports World Radio. Glad everybody could be with us today. We got a jam-packed show. We've been out of, or I should say I've been out of commission for a while now because my back has been killing me, so I haven't been able to sit in my chair and do the show. Excuse me, but I am here today. We're going to have a lot of fun. Back is feeling a little bit better. Hopefully I'll be able to sit for the full 2 hours, and we'll get this show rocking and rolling. SportsWorldRadio.com is the place to listen to Sean and I do our thing every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you live in the Central,
figure that out for yourself.
That's damn skippy. SportsWorldRadio.com. You want to like our Facebook page, head on over to Facebook.com/SportsWorldRadio. Also follow us on Twitter at Twitter.com/SportsWorldRadio. Now, if you want to get in touch with the show, there's two ways to do it. If you have Skype, head on over to SportsWorldRadio.com. Click the little red button in the left-hand side on the page that says Call Now, and all Skype users will be directed right to the show. If you don't have Skype, give us a call at 619-663-3715. That's right, 619-663-3715. Give us a call. Tell us what you're thinking. If you disagree, you agree with us. Sean and I really don't care. We'll probably laugh at you anyway, which is what we normally do anyway. But if you want to get in touch with the show, those are the two ways to do it. Now, with all that at, oh, you know what? One more thing. If you're listening to the show over at SportsWorldRadio.com and you want to hang out in the chat room with us, head on over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. Get yourself a free account, type in Sports World Radio, and come on in and hang out in the chat room with us over at SportsWorldRadio.com. Now, with all that out of the way, what do you say? Hey, we bring in that guy you just heard, our co-host, Sean Mann, the update man. What's going on, buddy?
Hello there, Jeff, and welcome everybody to the fastest 2 hours of sports talk you'll ever hear on the internet, Sports World Radio. It's 6:06 p.m. on the East Coast, which makes it 3:06 p.m. on the West. It is Tuesday, June 17th, 2014. Weather right now, 56 degrees, cloudy, and very rainy. How are you, Jeff, and how's the weather out in San Diego?
Ha, 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 ha. 56 degrees and cloudy and raining where you're living right now?
Yeah, it's cold and wet out here, man.
Ah, that's what you get. And it's June?
Yeah, it's June.
That's what you get, man, for living where you live. All right? Got a bunch of people hanging out in the chat room with us. Josh, our producer's here with us. Frank Sprankle, who will be on the show, I should say, in the second hour of the show. That's right, because we're doing 2 hours every Monday through Friday. Ain't that show, Sean?
That's right. The fastest 2 hours. Come and hang out and join us as we talk about a lot of important sports stories.
Hey, really quick, let me ask you a question. And you never thought I would ask you this, and then I'm going to jump into something really quick after that. Have you been watching any of the soccer?
One word, no.
One word, no. I love that. One word, no. Yeah, me neither. Get that crap off my TV. I get pissed off when I turn on ESPN and I see soccer. The hell is this, man? You wasted my time.
They're saying it's probably because the NBA finals are over, the NHL Stanley Cup finals are over, so they're saying, let's put on the World Cup of soccer for all you soccer fans who enjoy watching it.
Screw them. Okay, so before...
Hey, okay. Dr. Myth, good to see you,
Hey, Dr. Myth.
And
okay,
Frank.
look at soccer. Two words. F, soccer. I love that, Dr. Myth. Okay, before we go any further and we do anything on the show, I did not talk to the producer about this. I did not talk to Frank about this. I did not talk to Sean about this. And I could really care less because I'm doing it whether they like it or not. Yesterday, as far as I am concerned, probably one of the top 5 hitting persons in baseball passed away yesterday. And I know Frank is going to want to talk about it in the second hour of the show, but I have to do this because he played for the San Diego Padres. He lived in San Diego. He was the Aztec San Diego's head basketball coach. It must be said, my condolences go out to the entire Tony Gwynn family and the San Diego. It's a very bleak day here in San Diego yesterday, and it's been a rough 7 months with Jerry Coleman passing away and now Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I was thinking of you. I said Jeff will most definitely want to talk about this. Tony Gwynn, who banged out 3,141 hits during a Hall of Fame career spanning 20 seasons with the San Diego Padres, passed away at the age of 54 because he lost his battle with cancer.
Yeah, he had mouth cancer, oral cancer, and that was because of chewing tobacco. But yeah, it was I woke up yesterday late. I mean, I didn't wake up yesterday until, I don't know, it was like 4:30, 4:45 in the afternoon, and that's how I found out. So I didn't find out until late yesterday. Yeah, Tony Gwynn was better known than any mayor of San Diego. Besides people in San Diego, can anybody name the mayor of San Diego? Hey, dude, I live in San Diego, and I can't even name the mayor of San Diego, and they just put him on TV yesterday. I think it's Faulkner is the mayor of San Diego. But I live outside of San Diego, so I don't vote for the mayor of San Diego. But right, you're absolutely right with that, Frank. And we'll save more of that talk when Frank comes on, because Frank is a big, huge baseball guy, and I know for a fact, and if he hasn't, he will after I say this, I know for a fact that Frank is going to have tons and tons of Tony Gwynn stats, so I'm looking forward to that. Josh, do me a favor, get me a bunch of Tony Gwynn stats, so when we're ready to go, I might bring you on the air as well, and you can reel off some stats for us too. We'll do all of that in the second hour of the show. Listen, his nickname is Mr. Padre. You should see the statue that they have for him outside of Petco Park, covered in flowers and Tony Gwynn memorabilia. It was a very, very odd day here in San Diego. You can feel you were able to feel it.
Yeah, Jeff,
it was
well
weird.
Said, because it seems like this month we've lost some really good sports legends. Okay, we talk about Tony Gwynn, Don Zimmer, of course, who was the bench coach for the New York Yankees.
And we just lost Chuck Noll as well.
Yeah, Chuck Noll. He passed away on Friday at the age of 82. So my thoughts and prayers go out to the Noll family, the Gwynn family for baseball, and the Zimmer family. So we've lost three good guys.
Man. Yeah, it's been a crazy month, hasn't it?
Has been a crazy month.
It's been a crazy, crazy month, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Jeff, as we get to the next sad story, Chuck Noll, what was your thoughts when you heard about that? You grew up in the 70s, Jeff, and you remember Chuck Noll well than I do because I wasn't alive, but of course I've studied about him. But what was your thoughts about him?
Well, I hated those Pittsburgh teams. So back then, I was not a Chuck Noll fan. I hated those Pittsburgh teams.
Wes, wherever you are and listening, my thoughts and prayers go out to you, buddy, because I know you're a big Steelers fan. I was thinking about you on Friday night when I was watching the Cup Finals, and I saw the update on my phone that Chuck Noll had passed away at the age of 80.
I thought of Wes right away, too. I thought of Wes right away as well. You bet your
What were the
ass.
Steelers before Chuck Noll? I would say, Frank, they were more of the laughingstock team because, remember, Pittsburgh didn't have good teams, and you remember the Rooney family bought that team, and then Chuck came in and was hired as coach of the Steelers in 1969, and he was there till 1991. He won 4 Super Bowls as Steelers, and you got to remember they had Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris and Jack Lambert and Lynn Swann.
Yeah, the Padres are out of town. They're playing in Seattle. and they have a black band on their right arm, right underneath the star for Jerry Coleman. And then yesterday at the Seattle game, the Seattle Mariners put a 19, Tony Gwynn's number 19, at the 5.5 hole where he hit 98% of his hits. How about that? The 5.5 hole, that's Tony Gwynn's hole. And there was a lot of ballparks yesterday doing a moment of silence for Tony Gwynn. The flags here, and that's funny, Dr. Myth, that you mentioned the mayor of San Diego. The mayor of San Diego ordered all flags on post offices, police stations, everywhere in San Diego fly at half-mast today for Tony Gwynn. Yesterday and today.
That was a classy thing to do.
How about that? The football coach was at Tony Gwynn's statue yesterday. But football players were there yesterday leaving flowers and talking to the fans and doing it was a very somber day here in Fox Sports San Diego. Because actually I'm watching the San Diego Padres play the Seattle Seahawks, right? Seattle Mariners right now. I have the game on. All day yesterday, nothing but Tony Gwynn. Ex-baseball players were coming on the air and talking about Tony Gwynn. It was a beautiful thing to watch, and at the same time, a sad thing to watch. And I know for a fact that Frank's going to want to talk about it a lot more, so we're going to get away from that. But when Frank comes on, and I hope Frank don't mind, and I don't think he will, and I'm waiting to do it until Frank gets on the air with us. When Frank comes on, right before we start Frank's segment, we're going to do a moment of silence for Tony Gwynn.
Sure.
All right? I mean, we do it for some bigwigs, don't we? And Tony Gwynn is the biggest wig in San Diego. Do you know something about Tony Gwynn? Do you know he still holds the all-time he's the all-time assists leader for the San Diego basketball. San Diego State. How about he's the all-time assist leader for the San Diego basketball team? How about that?
That's pretty amazing.
To this day.
On that note,
crazy.
We will talk more about this with Frank. We've got stuff to get to. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Sports World Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Escow. With me, like always, Sean Mann, the update man. We were just talking a little bit about Tony Gwynn before we went to break. We'll continue the Tony Gwynn talk in the second hour of the show, where we bring in our good friend Frank Sprankle from Chicago, who's a diehard baseball fan, Chicago baseball fan, but he's an encyclopedia of baseball, and I know he's got this thing for Tony Gwynn. So let's get away from that a little bit, Sean,
and all the sad news that's going on in the sports
and
world.
Sean, I wanted to say something to you, okay, really quick. What color uniforms are the Los Angeles Kings?
Black and white.
What color uniforms are the San Antonio Spurs?
Black and white.
Is there a trend going on? Are we expected to see the Oakland Raiders win the Super Bowl now?
Well, theirs are black and silver, but they're also white and silver when they go on the road.
Correct. So we suppose they got this. They pretty much got the same colors as the Kings and the Spurs, right? Oakland Raiders, right? Correct. All three of those teams pretty much got the same colors. Correct. So with the Kings and the Spurs winning, who already have the same colors, you think maybe we're going to see the Oakland Raiders win the Super Bowl this year?
They'd want to win it for Al Davis.
Hey, Vasemere. How crazy would that be? Huh?
That would be nuts.
It would be a black and white kind of a season, wouldn't it? In sports, wouldn't it? Huh? Nobody ever thought of that. Did you think about that? Did you think about that?
I did not think about that.
Did that pop into your mind? That never popped into your mind, did it? Never. I wonder how many people's mind that popped into. I bet you that never popped into. The first thing I thought of right after the Spurs won is I said to myself, "Oh man, the Kings are black and white. The Spurs are black. The Raiders are black. Oh man, are the Raiders going to win the Super Bowl and keep it going?" Because and also now that I'm thinking about it, the only team in baseball that really wears black and white are the Chicago Cubs, right? I'm not the Cubs, the White Sox, right? The Chicago White Sox, correct?
Yeah, and the Encyclopedia Man is a White Sox fan.
So could we have the White Sox winning the World Series and the Oakland Raiders winning the freaking Super Bowl and have nothing but black and white going through everything? Huh?
We very well could.
You people don't think like that, do you? I do. Look at Frank. Frank says the Lions and the Raiders in the Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona.
I don't see that happening.
Hey, Frank, are you making that prediction right now? Because I'm going to have Sean mark it down.
I can't wait to hear what Frank's thoughts are about that. A Raiders-Lions Super Bowl, and then he'll bust Jeff's chops in the next hour.
If the Raiders make it to the Super Bowl, you know they're winning because it's the black and white thing. I'm telling you. You're going to have the Chicago White Sox win the World Series this year, and you're going to have the freaking Oakland Raiders win the Super Bowl this year. How crazy would that be, boys and girls? How crazy?
Speaking of which,
Sean, you like that, wouldn't you?
Encyclopedia Man goes, "You are high."
Yeah, well, I might be, but still, it doesn't stop me from thinking. Hey, the first thing I thought about when I saw the Spurs win the finals, hey, Sean, how many games did the Spurs win in?
5 games.
How many games did I say the Spurs were going to win in?
You said 5 games.
Oh, my God, I got that right, didn't I? Hey, Sean, how many games did the Kings win in?
Kings won in 5 games.
How many games did I say the Kings were going to win in?
5 games.
Oh, my God, I got that one right, too, huh?
You are the master prediction.
I love it when I'm right.
The next story we get to, we get to the NBA Finals. It's all over with. It's all done with. We know who won. Congratulations to the 2014 San Antonio Spurs as they get revenge from last year. I watched the whole game, Jeff, and I'll tell you, the Heat get up 22-6, and everybody's saying, uh-oh, Heat are back. They're going to blow them out of the water. San Antonio gets on a big run, and I was like saying, expect San Antonio to get something going, and that second quarter was the turning point. Miami only scored 11 points in that second quarter. San Antonio went up 47-40, and I thought, Spurs are going to dominate the second half. Look what you just saw.
Seattle just beat the freaking Padres. Padres stink.
And the NBA Finals MVP is Kawhi Leonard. Jeff,
How about
congrats. How about that?
Oh. See, you had that happen. Oh, get this soccer off my freaking TV, will you? For Jiminy Cricket's sakes. See, that was the thing. You had Father's Day, Kawhi, and then you got San Antonio winning. Kawhi Leonard gets freaking MVP. So everybody's happy in San Diego, and then Monday Tony Gwynn passes away and it goes, bleh. So it was a wacky. I was so happy for Kawhi Leonard. In fact, when they announced it, I clapped. I clapped. How about that?
And how about the dedication from Kawhi Leonard to his father? It was Father's Day. Kawhi Leonard talked about how he lost his father to a shooting, and so I thought that was good that he thought of his father. And for the Spurs to come out and win this was great for Greg Popovich. Think about it. His 5th NBA championship. He's been with the San Antonio Spurs since 1997. He says he wants to coach more and win championships. 99, 03, 05, 07, and now 2014. He's done a phenomenal job with the San Antonio Spurs. And Tim Duncan, with his career coming to a close, you don't know how many years he has left. Good for him. I was glad to see Duncan win, Parker win, and Ginobili win. And the Spurs wanted to play Miami because they did not get over last year.
You just mentioned the top 3 for Spurs, and none of them won the MVP. How about that? How about that? Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, and none of them won the MVP. How crazy is that?
That was nuts.
Did you see how happy those guys were that he won the MVP?
They were very happy.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved it, really, truly. He pretty much shut them down. He deserved it.
Greg Popovich said this. He goes, quote, "I've said many times, a day didn't go by where I didn't think about Game 6. That's what he said when they lost last year in the finals.
I bet. They didn't even want to get to Game 6. They wanted to shut it down in Game 5, and I'm glad they did. It was phenomenal to watch.
Now, on the other side, you go to Miami, a team that didn't play well
Now,
at
let me
all.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday that you posted on Facebook the Miami Cheaters. Right?
They are.
Okay, why are they? You know me. I don't root for Miami. I'm not a Miami fan, but I got to know why you're calling them the Miami Cheaters.
I call them the Miami Cheaters because I always felt like the NBA and the officials fixed it for them to win the last 2 years.
So you're calling them the Miami Cheaters for something that somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
Well, you're blaming. Okay, so you're
everybody wanted to see LeBum win his championship.
But you're blaming Miami Heat on what somebody else is doing. That's like me blaming you for something that Josh did. Does that make any sense at all?
No, but I'm happy they lost. I don't care about the doggone Heat. I'm just glad they
but
lost.
I know, but why do you call them the Miami Cheaters?
Miami cheat because they are. They
Why?
have everything go their way. They always call the fouls on the opposition, and I think it's sick. And everybody wanted to see and the NBA probably wanted to see LeBum get his NBA championship.
They didn't do it this year, though.
Wow.
They didn't do it this year.
And I was happy. I'm sick of LeBron James.
So why are you calling them the Miami Cheaters?
Because that's what they are.
Why?
They're cheat.
How do they cheat?
They get away with everything.
How do they cheat?
They just do.
They didn't get away with a damn thing in that series. So how do they cheat? I'm calling you out.
You can call me out all you want,
I want to know.
I just do because I have never been a fan of the Heat.
So that doesn't mean you got to call them cheaters. They don't cheat. They don't cheat. Listen, this is coming from a Miami. I'm not a Miami fan. I just don't understand. I guess it's still the young kid in you. But I don't understand. How can you call them Miami cheaters when they don't cheat? I'm not a Miami Heat fan. I can't stand Miami. But they're not cheaters. They're not. They play by the rules. Yes, they might flop and this and that, but they get caught and fined and all that. Correct?
Yes, correct. But I still...
Didn't Wade get fined for flopping?
Yeah, finally, about time.
Okay. Listen, that team there, they're not a team. They're individual players. What you saw with the San Antonio Spurs is team basketball. And I hate to tell you this, but that's what Naismith meant by team basketball right there, kids. That's how basketball is supposed to be played. Not the way it's played nowadays with the one-on-one bull crap. Do you disagree with me on that, Sean? Or you agree with me on that?
Well, I don't care. I'm just glad it's over with. I'm glad they lost.
Let me ask you a question, Sean. When you watch a basketball game, do you like to watch the game that the San Antonio Spurs play, or kind of a game like this, like the Boston Celtics play, where it's one-on-one basketball? I'm just asking. Do you like the team concept or the one-on-one concept? That everybody seems to play. The Knicks, the Bulls, the Celtics, the Cowboy, Dallas. Everybody plays it.
Team concept.
Yeah, me too. That's how basketball was supposed to move the ball around, pass the ball around, give it to the open man. Correct?
Correct.
I mean, that's how I was raised to play basketball. I don't know about anybody else. The way they play it now, it's more of one-on-one basketball. Correct? Give me the ball and I'll do my thing. Right?
Right.
But San Antonio don't play that way, do they?
They did not play that way. But they were on a mission this year to win. Yep. And on that note, we'll get to a commercial break.
Sports World Radio.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
Back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann with you. You want to get in touch with the show, give us a call at 619-663-3715. 619-663-3715 is the number to give us a shout at. We do this show here every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. in the West. And if you live in the Central.
For you people in the Central, figure that out for yourself. I'm tired of explaining that.
He's tired of explaining it to you. How about that?
Yeah, and speaking of which, we get to the next story 33 minutes past the hour. We talk about Carmelo Anthony. That's what Jeff and I were talking about on the break. Now, Carmelo Anthony says he's possibly leaning toward leaving the Knicks. The Chicago Bulls and the Houston Rockets could be the top candidates for the 7-time All-Star. Jeff, Frank, Encyclopedia Man, your guys' thoughts about Melo leaving the Knicks and possibly being a Bull or a Rocket?
You're going to make me say what I said during the break, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to force me to say what I said during the break, aren't you?
Yeah, you're fine with it because then the Knicks would have the money to spend.
Yeah, what did I say during the break? I said Phil Jackson's bringing that team concept to New York with the triangle offense. So it really doesn't matter whether they have a freaking Carmelo Anthony there or not, because he likes to play one-on-one basketball anyway. So I don't really care whether he stays or goes, because if he stays, he's going to have to play in that offense. If he goes, that offense is going to go anyway. Because they're going to play the kind of ball that San Antonio played.
That's right, and Phil Jackson wants to make sure that he'll have a good team to put on the court. And, of course, he's got Derek Fisher, the new coach of the Knicks. Now, Carmelo Anthony may do more than just opt out of his contract. He may be opting out of New York as well. Anthony's meeting with Knicks officials in Los Angeles on Friday ended with Anthony's future never more in doubt. In fact, he's reportedly leaning toward leaving the Knicks to join a championship contender, with the Bulls and Rockets emerging as the top candidates according to Yahoo Sports.
I can give a flying fig Newton.
The Daily News reported on Thursday that Anthony is sticking with his plan to opt out of his contract and test the free agency this summer, despite Phil Jackson's public request that the 7-time All-Star wait until July 1st, 2015 before becoming a free agent.
Yeah, he wants him to opt into his contract this year that will give him $23.5 million. Okay? So if he walks away, he's losing $23.5 million.
Frank goes, I think Melo would want a challenge. He would want to try to dethrone the Heat even more. He would sign with the Bulls before the Heat. That's possible.
How about this crazy scenario, boys and girls? How about Carmelo Anthony, instead of opting out, opts in the final year of his contract, which will pay him $23.5 million with the Knicks. LeBron James, instead of opting out, opts in on his final year of his contract, and then next year they're both free agents and they both go play for the same team. How about that for a scenario, boys and girls?
Or remember what we said last week, Jeff, on a show? We were talking about how between now and then you could see maybe visits between Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James about the possibility of those two players playing in Miami or possibly going up to the Big Apple and playing with the Knicks. But this is a big decision for Melo. If he says he's leaning, then he will basically say goodbye to the Knicks. I'm going to go find another team to play for.
Or he could or the big three over in Miami all can opt out, sign different contracts for lower money, and then they go get Carmelo Anthony, and then you'll have a big four, and then you might as well just kiss the East goodbye if that happens.
Yahoo reported that both Chicago and Houston would be open to sign and trade possibilities with the Knicks. Now, Bulls general manager John Paxson is very close with Jackson, his former coach, and is conceivable that the two could negotiate a deal involving Anthony. The Knicks could take back a package featuring Carlos Boozer's expiring contract, plus a first-round draft pick. Jeff, would you be okay with having Carlos Boozer on your Knicks?
I can't stand that guy. I can't stand Carlos Boozer. I hope that don't happen.
What about a first-round draft pick along with Boozer?
I don't want Boozer on the team, so screw the first-round draft pick. I would rather lose Carmelo Anthony straight out than freaking have Boozer on the team. How about that? You like that? I would rather lose Boozer. I would rather lose Carmelo Anthony totally than have Boozer. Boozer, what a name. He's a boozer, man. On the Knicks.
Frank goes, if Phil Jackson can be fined for talking with Derek Fisher before announcing his retirement, should players of the other teams be fined too? The Bulls would not give up Noah. He goes, I would take the trade. Of course, I'm speaking as a Bulls fan. So, Frank, I take it you would want Carmelo on your Chicago Bulls team.
Of course he would. Of course he would. Are you kidding me? But I hate to tell you, man. Carmelo Anthony needs the ball to score. So does Derrick Rose. Who's going to win that battle when Derrick Rose handles the ball? You tell me.
Dirk Nowitzki made a public plea for Anthony to consider joining him in Dallas. He goes, quote, "If Carmelo would really love to come here," Nowitzki said on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, "we'd love to have him." Could you possibly see Carmelo Anthony, everybody, in a Dallas Mavericks uniform?
Are you kidding me?
Mark Cuban going after Carmelo and negotiating with Phil Jackson? Ooh.
I can guarantee you that he ain't going anywhere there. He ain't going anywhere over there. He's got to stay in a big city because of his wife. He's got to stay in Chicago, New York, L.A., Boston, something big like that. Miami. Especially Miami because that's where they have a place down there as well already. So especially Miami. So that's why I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up in Miami.
ESPN reported on Wednesday that the Heat is hoping to have LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh all opt out of their current contracts and take less money in order for Miami to sign Anthony. And that's what Pat Riley would want to have happen. So then he can say, Carmelo, we got our guys back for less money. How'd you like to come down to South Beach and play for the Heat? And I'm sure he would like that because he does have a connection with LeBron because they are both friends.
Yes, unless LeBron turns around to Carmelo and says, hey, I want to play in the Garden. I want to play for New York. So you just opt in, I'll opt in, and then I'll come to New York next year.
Frank goes, the Mavericks are on AARP. I can agree with you, Frank. I don't think and see Melo in a Dallas Mavericks.
That's right.
Uniform.
And I need Carlos Boozer on the Knicks like I need a hole in the head. Because that's what's going to be, man. It's going to be nothing but a pain in the butt to have him on the team.
Well, Josh, the encyclopedia man goes, Jeff needs Carlos Boozer's contribution to the Knicks.
Yeah, like I need a hole in the head. I'm not a fan of Carlos Boozer. I don't want him on the New York Knicks. If Carlos Boozer ends up on the New York Knicks, I ain't watching no games.
Jackson's plan is also to do this, is to dip into the free agent market in 2015 and perhaps take a run at Kevin Durant in 2016.
Who?
Kevin Durant.
Who's going to take a run at him?
Phil Jackson. He plans to dip into the free agent market in 2015.
Yeah, lots of luck.
Perhaps in 2016, take a look at Kevin Durant.
Yeah, lots of luck.
Durant and the Knicks coach Derek Fisher are former teammates with Oklahoma City. Now, he would probably say, Derek Fisher, okay, Phil Jackson, I played with this guy, Kevin Durant. Let's have him become a New York Knick.
Lots of luck. His personality is not suited for the big bright lights of New York or Boston or LA or Chicago or Miami. He's a hometown grown, that's where he belongs in Oklahoma or Dallas or even San Antonio or Houston or some Midwest team because they don't get a lot of press. You know what I'm saying?
Frank goes, I got an idea. If the Bulls make the trade with the Knicks, why don't people just boycott Madison Square Garden for Knicks games next year?
If Boozer goes to the Knicks, I ain't watching no freaking games. I'm telling you right now, boys and girls. I'm not a Boozer fan. I can't stand Boozer. I never was a Boozer fan. I don't even know how that guy made it in the NBA in the first place. Jeez Louise, Batman. It's like disturbing. It's like real disturbing.
If you go back to the Mavericks real quickly, Anthony, of course, as we know, free agent on July 1st, and the Mavericks will have the salary cap space to offer him a lucrative deal. Mavericks owner Mark Cuban and Dolan have a close relationship. Ooh. So that could be a big thing coming up if Mark Cuban reaches out to the Knicks owner Dolan and say, "Hey Dolan, let's make a swap. I'll make a deal with you. Have Melo come to the Mavericks, and I'll give you what I want.
I'll give you what I want.
I'll give you what I have for a trade." That's what he probably would say.
Who the hell is
James
on
Dolan.
Who the hell is on the Mavericks that the Knicks want?
Not sure who.
Exactly.
Vince Carter, maybe? I don't know.
Go Vince Carter. That guy's older than dirt.
And the Knicks just went through being a veteran team last year.
Exactly. They don't want oldies. They want newbies. They don't want no old guys, man. They want young guys. I'm J.R. You think J.R. Smith is going to be on that team? You're crazy. You think Felton Spencer's going to be on that team? You're crazy.
Well, Mark Cuban's trying to do what he can to bring an NBA championship back to Dallas for the first time in 3 years.
You want Carmelo? You want Carmelo? You got to take either Felton Spencer or J.R. Smith. One of those two as well. Get them off my hands. I don't want nobody. I want draft choices.
I can't wait to see what the NBA draft looks like. That's coming up June 26th.
If I'm Phil, I don't want nobody. I want draft choices. I want all your draft choices. I want a number one, and a number one. Give them up, bitch. I want a number one and a number two in the next draft, and I want a number one and a number two in the next draft after that. Give them up, bitch. That's what I want.
Ready for an update?
I'm ready for an update, I guess. Hey, this is the first update of the day. That's right. This update is brought to you by Keurig.coffeemachines.com. For all your Keurig products, head on over to Keurig.coffeemachines.com. Are you looking for a new coffee machine? Do you need some coffee? How about some tea? Head on over to KeurigCoffeeMachines.com. Brewing perfection, one cup at a time. That's KeurigCoffeeMachines.com. Take it away, Sean Mann, with the first update of the day.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, everybody. Welcome. It's 46 minutes past the hour. It's June 17th, 2014, Tuesday. Major League Baseball, one final interleague play. The Mariners over the Padres by a score of 6-1. Let's stay in the American League. Tonight's games, it's the Angels at the Indians, Blue Jays at the Yankees, Royals at the Tigers, Twins at the Red Sox, Orioles at the Rays. Interleague play tonight, it'll be the Giants taking on the White Sox, and then back to the American League, it'll be the Rangers taking on the Athletics. Switching to the National League, here are the games. It'll be the Astros at the Nationals, Reds at the Pirates, Phillies at the Braves, Cubs at the Marlins, Mets at the Cardinals, Brewers at the Diamondbacks, Rockies at the Dodgers. Sad news to report, of course, in Major League Baseball, as this has been a rough month. Don Zimmer, of course, as you know, a few weeks ago, he passed away at the age of 83. Of course, he was the bench coach for Joe Torre and the New York Yankees during that run from the late 90s when they won it in 96, 98, 99, and 2000. And, of course, yesterday, sad news from San Diego. Great baseball player, great man. Tony Gwynn passed away at the age of 54 with his loss of cancer. So rest in peace to those two great baseball players. In the NFL, sad news to report. On Friday night, Chuck Noll died at the age of 82. He led the Steelers to 4 Super Bowls. They beat Dallas twice, Super Bowl 10 and Super Bowl 13. He beat Minnesota in the Super Bowl. And then, of course, he won Super Bowl 14. That was against the Los Angeles Rams. That was at Pasadena, California. Noll had a great record. He coached from 1969 to 1991. He had the most winning tradition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Bill Cowher came in and continued that because he was the coach of the Steelers from 91 to 2006. So rest in peace to Chuck Noll, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the NBA, of course, here's some big news to report. As you know, the NBA Finals is complete. The San Antonio Spurs have won their 5th NBA championship in their history, 99, 03, 05, 07, and 2014. They finally ended the Miami Heat's run of the NBA championship. In the National Hockey League, the New York Rangers and the Los Angeles Kings on Friday, that was a classic game. The Kings won the game 3-2 in double overtime, so they win their 2nd Stanley Cup. The Rangers have not won a Stanley Cup since 1994. We'll be back after this commercial break.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too.
Don't wait until it's too late. Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. I'm the host, Jeff Escal, alongside me, Sean Mann, the update man, like he is each and every Monday through Friday. Okay, Sean. What's today's date?
June 17th, 2014, Tuesday.
What happened today 20 years ago?
Oh, 20 years ago was when O.J. Simpson was arrested.
You're a smart son of a bitch. How old were you? 7?
7 years old, and I still remember it like yesterday.
Were you watching it on TV when it was unfolding?
Story goes that we just moved to Montana, my parents' brothers and I did, and we saw it on television. I was like, oh, O.J. busted. He did it. You know, we knew all along that he did it, but that screwed up your New York Knicks.
I was fit to be tied. I was in a bar watching the New York Knicks play the Houston Rockets. And all of a sudden, this starts happening, and they did a split screen, and I was sitting in my chair. As soon as they did a split screen, and me and my buddy walked right up to the TV. We were standing like 2 feet from the TV so we can watch the game, because they put it in a small little box. I was like, get the hell out of here. Yeah, so 20 years ago today, the infamous white Bronco. Infamous white Bronco deal happened.
Then O.J., of course, was acquitted of the charges in October of 1995, which stunned the whole world. I was stunned because I was like,
okay, I can't watch it no more. ESPN2 is showing everything right now. I can't watch it no more. Get away from me. I can't. It's disturbing.
They've had it on the news and on sports about people saying, oh, where were you? And did everybody think that he was guilty or innocent? He was guilty.
It's disturbing. Well, he, you know what? He wasn't guilty. He was acquitted.
He should have been guilty. That's what I'm saying. He should have been guilty, in my opinion, but he was acquitted of the charges in October of 95.
But he's in jail now anyway on something else, so it doesn't matter.
Busted. Yep.
Yeah, busted. So, yeah, 20 years ago today, the infamous white Bronco traveling down the freeway. How freaking nuts. Josh was 1 month old when that happened. Oh my
I was 7, and Jeff, you were 28, right?
Yeah,
That's
I was
right,
28. I was 28 when it happened. Yeah, I was already here in San Diego. I was at the game getting hammered, and I was drinking. So the more I was drinking, the more pissed off I was getting because they were showing the game on a split screen.
That was a big month for New York sports.
I'm like yelling, "What the hell am I doing here watching this game on a split screen? I gotta be home drinking for free." You know, it was like ridiculous, man. It's like,
that
get
was
the
a
hell
big
outta
month.
here.
That was a big month for New York sports. Of course,
Yeah,
the Knicks
Rangers.
went to the NBA Finals. The New York Rangers, of course, went to the Stanley Cup Finals, as I mentioned in the update. They played Vancouver and knocked them out in 7 games to win the Cup. And, of course, the Knicks ended up losing. Oops.
Thank you. Don't say it. You might
Don't jinx it.
Don't say it.
Don't get on Jeff's bad side.
That's
He'll
right.
let you know about it.
Don't say it. I don't want to hear it. Me no want to hear it.
He said the Bulls got robbed that year against the Knicks.
Yeah, it's because Michael Jordan wasn't playing. The Knicks didn't rob him. Michael Jordan robbed the Bulls by leaving.
Jordan retired. That's right.
He went to go play baseball. Thank God. The other teams got a chance to win.
Jordan retired, and I remember another thing that they had on a 30 for 30. And, of course, I know Jeff didn't have a lot of respect for this NBA player. It was talking about Reggie Miller against the New York Knicks. And the Knicks had all these great expectations after Jordan left. Everybody said the Knicks were going to be the next dominant franchise of the 90s. And, of course, they were. And, of course, they had a good team in 94. And, of course, they finally beat Reggie Miller in Indiana. And, of course, that was the whole Spike Lee, Reggie Miller thing.
Yep. How crazy was that, man?
Ever seen that 30 for 30 documentary where it talks about Reggie Miller against the Knicks? And, of course, he was going against the nemesis Spike Lee, who just couldn't stand Reggie Miller.
I still can't stand Reggie Miller.
The Knicks pulled a heat that year. LOL.
I still can't stand freaking Reggie Miller and those guys. I hate them. I'm not fond of them at all.
Of course, that was a great rivalry from 93 to 2000 between your Knicks and the Pacers.
Yeah, Knicks and the Pacers, Knicks and the Bulls, Knicks and Houston. They get freaking problems all over the place.
In the late 90s, it was Knicks and Heat.
Yep. Yeah, and then Knicks and and it's still a Knicks and the Heat, I think, to this day. And then don't forget about Knicks in Boston, you know.
Frank goes, I was watching NBC 20 years ago tonight.
Yeah, he was watching the Knicks freaking beat Houston. And then they fell apart.
All because of one man.
It's OJ. I blamed that whole series on OJ. That whole freaking series is OJ's fault, man. If he would have waited until after basketball season was over, we would have had a chance. But no, he didn't pull that crap. Damn OJ. Hey, don't forget, coming up in the second hour of the show, which will be starting after our break, we'll have Frank Sprankle on from Chicago talking to us all sorts of sports stuff. I'm sure we'll get into some Tony Gwynn stuff and all that good stuff. So it should be a very, very interesting second hour of the show. Remember, we do the show each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. on the East, 3 p.m. on the West. And if you live in the Central,
figure that out for yourself.
Yeah, while you say that, I'm going to stretch my back out because it's killing me, you rat bastard. It's all your fault.
Frank goes, how are Ford Bronco sales after the chase?
Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I think my friend bought one.
Same one as OJ, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I would never buy one. Ford Bronco. No way. Although when I lived up north of Palmdale for a while, when I was living up in Palmdale, California, while I was living with this lady who had a black Ford Bronco. And I drove that a lot.
Were you all surprised, though, that in October of 95 that he was acquitted of the charges, though, going back to OJ?
No, not really.
You weren't surprised?
No. Not really. Not really. I had a feeling it was going to happen. You know, jury can only go off of what the jury sees. You know, they were sequestered, so they didn't get to see all the rest of the stuff, you know?
Frank goes, no, it was celebrity justice.
Well, we'll see. I don't think it was so much that, Frank. I don't think it was racial at all.
Then in October of 2008, yeah, that's when O.J. went to prison, and that was I remember they broke in with that.
Yeah, on different charges and stuff like that. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, we're gonna run to a quick break. On the other side of this break, we'll have Frank Sprankle with us. You're listening to Jeff and Sean on SportsWorldRadio.com.
Sports World Radio.
So intense, they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Have you ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion? Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone? It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff, Sean, and now our good friend Frank Sprankle. What's going on, Frank?
I got to tell you, I was bored out of my mind, and quite honestly, I fault the game of soccer because Mexico and Brazil are 2 of the best nations when it comes to the game of soccer, and they play to a scoreless tie. What happened to penalty kicks? This is not an exhibition. There should be a winner and a loser.
Frank, it's not like I really care about soccer. I turn it off because it's so boring. It could put me to sleep, and I'll be like, "Oh, who won the World Cup game?"
Frank, why are you watching that crap?
Because
what the heck, man? What's the matter with you?
Doing all I can to keep my physical body in shape, and I needed something to watch. I had the TV
That's so
attached
boring.
To
all you do is see soccer players kick a ball.
Sean, can you think of any alternate entertainment options at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Not very many. Go read a book.
I was exercising, doofus.
Well, just focus on the exercise and heck with the stinking World Cup.
What do you want me to watch? Do you want me to watch paint dry while I'm exercising? Do you want me to watch the wall?
Dr.
Do you
Phil.
want me to watch a cardboard box?
Dr. Phil. Watch Dr. Phil.
Watch Dr. Phil?
Yeah, watch Dr. Phil make fun of somebody, and so you can make you feel better about yourself.
Or get ready to watch Judge Judy.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Isn't afternoon about court dramas?
Yeah. I would rather watch paint dry than watch freaking soccer.
Not even if it's international competition such as this, when it is supposed to bring the world together and we're all supposed to sit in a circle holding hands as other nations and singing Kumbaya.
I would watch paint dry over any soccer game, whether it's freaking World Cup or regular. I don't give a fig Newton.
I remember my interest in the World Cup started 20 years ago when it came to the United States.
In fact,
and actually, it opened, I would like to say, 20 years ago today because it was at Soldier Field. I don't remember the matchup off the top of my head, but it was in the afternoon. It was a weekday afternoon. It opened at Soldier Field. And I remember Bill Clinton was president at the time, spoke before the inaugural matchup. And it was a big deal in Chicago because this was an event of gigantic proportions.
Here's a big story, Frank. I know this is your hour, but here, back to the NBA Finals. San Antonio Spurs are happy it only took 5 games to beat the Heat in the Finals, but the same can't be said for ABC. The series averaged 15.5 million viewers, topped by the 18 million who watched the Spurs clinching game on Sunday. So overall, the series was down from 17.7 million average for the 2013 NBA Finals between these two teams. So what do you guys think of the ratings of the NBA Finals?
I didn't watch all of it.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I didn't watch every game, all of them.
Didn't watch a lot of the games?
I watched a lot of the
game.
games.
I didn't see every minute of it, but I watched every game.
Yes, I seen every game, but I didn't watch every minute of it.
The fifth and deciding game of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, showing Friday on NBC, had just over 6 million viewers.
How much was the Stanley Cup? I mean, how much was Game 5 on Sunday between the Spurs and the Heat again?
I'll tell you know what? I watched more of the Game 5 of the Stanley Cup than I did of the basketball game.
It was 18 million. 18 million, Frank, was for the Spurs winning on Sunday night.
So you're looking at 3 times more viewership for Game 5 of the NBA Finals, a clinching scenario and clinching accomplished on the part of the Spurs, as opposed to clinching accomplished on the part of the Los Angeles Kings. That's 3 times more viewers. Well, here's the problem. Go ahead.
Frank, here's the thing, though. The reason why the NHL continues to be down in popularity is Gary Bettman. Even on Friday night, I saw it that Gary Bettman got booed when he was presenting the trophies to the Los Angeles Kings. And I know Jeff would enjoy that, too, because Jeff is an anti-Gary Bettman fan.
The guy has taken fighting out of the game. It is not the same league under Gary Bettman as it was under John Ziegler, who didn't have the title commissioner of the National Hockey League. He was considered the formal title for Ziegler when he ran the National Hockey League was president of the NHL. And back then you had fighting. It was more aggressive. It's become a little soft under Gary Bettman. And here's the thing, too, about Bettman as opposed to Adam Silver. I wouldn't say Adam Silver was being cheered upon considerably, but there were no boos. And I wanted to find out, once Silver was going to hand out the trophy, what it was going to be like, considering that he had laid down the hammer on Donald Sterling. You figured that he would get a huge ovation in wake of him laying down the hammer and expelling Donald Sterling from the NBA.
Oh, you got a pretty good one.
It's because the NBA wants, for basketball fans, NBA fans, they want to get away from the Donald Sterling controversy. They're trying to say, let's just try to enjoy some entertainment, because after what Sterling did, it sure got ugly for a while.
And that's what Adam Silver's trying to do. That's what Adam Silver's trying to do. And everybody is appreciative, even though it's been a short tenure for Adam Silver. Sure enough, unfortunately, this had to happen with Donald Sterling being caught on tape. But Adam Silver, he had no choice because that sponsors pulling out. The question is, what would be the status of the players? Would they play? Adam Silver had no choice, and because of that one option, he is being praised beyond belief.
Well, do you think that if David Stern was NBA commissioner, he would address it? Because, Jeff, you remember Kenny C came on the show, and Kenny was talking about the fact that Donald Sterling had gotten away with a lot, and David Stern didn't do anything about it.
I want to hear, I do want to hear you, Jeff, but my opinion on that is David Stern been cornered, and he would have done the same feat Adam Silver would have been. Yeah. Because he would have been cornered. Jeff, what's your opinion on this?
It's a different society now.
Yeah.
It's different than it was 10, 12 years ago. It's different than it was 20 years ago. So you're living in different times. So you can't.
Yeah, but we're talking about now. What would David Stern have done if he were still the commissioner of the NBA?
Same exact thing that Silver did.
Exactly.
Same exact thing. Same exact thing. He wouldn't have had a choice.
Well, Adam Silver was cornered. Likewise, David Stern would have been cornered.
Exactly. Same thing.
It would have been the best move he would have done because Stern had gotten criticized for the 2-3-2 format. He also got criticized, I remember back in 2008, okay, I'm sorry for bringing up Boston again, but Boston LA played, and because of the fact that he took a lot of pressure, Stern did. Remember that one NBA official who got in trouble for, what was it, betting on games? I forget what his...
Tim Donaghy.
Yes.
He went on 6. In fact, I'm not seeing the interview, but I believe he went on 60 Minutes.
Yes.
This was years ago. He went on 60 Minutes to talk about he believes the NBA. He said the NBA was fixed, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly what a lot of NBA fans sometimes think these days, that the NBA is a fixed game.
That's why San Antonio won.
But it's not much in the regular season. I don't think the NBA is fixed in the regular season. If it were to be fixed, according to Donaghy, it was fixed in the postseason because I don't know if it was the officials, I don't know if it was the league, but there was a power that wanted to see certain NBA playoff series go long, go the full distance, even 7 games.
Correct.
Well, I personally don't think I personally think that the NBA referees, you have a couple of elderly gentlemen there that shouldn't be refereeing anymore.
And who's Joey Crawford one of them?
Joey Crawford's one of them. Yeah.
Dick Pavetta. Remember Dick Pavetta?
He's gone.
But
he's gone. He's not refereeing no more.
Well, he used to. I remember that if he
I'm
would have
talking
stayed,
Sean, I'm talking about now.
Okay, I know.
Dick Pavetta, but he was a great referee. Joey Crawford's got to go.
Oh, Crawford.
Okay. I'll give you 2 reasons why.
Go ahead.
The guy can't run.
Yeah, you have to be in physical shape to be an NBA official. It's not like being an MLB umpire where you just stand in one position.
He's a fat slob.
The entire game.
He's a fat slob, Joey Crawford. Not only that, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's in his 60s.
And he's still doing it. That's surprising.
Well, get the hell out. The hell out. When the ball can make it down the court, before you get the whistle out of your mouth, you got a problem.
To Jeff's point, he does make a lot of sense here because do you ever see an out-of-shape NBA official?
Yes.
Who?
Joey Crawford.
Okay, but outside of Crawford.
No.
That's my point exactly. You have to be in top-notch shape to be an official because you are running down the length of the court.
Let me ask you a question. You're a hockey guy. Do you see a fat hockey official?
Absolutely not. First of all, dude, if you saw a fat hockey official, they would probably break their skates, being that they were that fat. If you took an NHL official, as the size of an MLB umpire, some of these umpires of the past, I mean, look at the late Eric Gregg. You take Eric Gregg's body into the size of an NHL official, he would break both of his skates on the ice. He would.
Well, Joey Crawford, I agree with Jeff. He needs to step down. The guy I've seen his games.
Fat bastard.
He runs so stinking, he's fat and he runs so slow.
Hey, Josh, do me a favor. Josh, do me a favor. Go find out how old Joey Crawford is for me, please.
You know what? Wait, who does ABC have, or ESPN ABC? Who do they have on their broadcast?
Fat
Is it
bastard.
Steve Javie?
Yes.
Why doesn't Joey Crawford do something like that for Turner Sports? Okay, he
I
can't do
agree.
this physically anymore, so why not move on to other things in terms of not being in an NBA official?
Joey
Maybe
Crawford.
Turner Sports could hire you for their TNT coverage.
Joey Crawford should have been out of the freaking league years ago, dude.
I'm just saying that would be a proper job for Joey Crawford, right?
Or he could do NBA TV. He could be a.
He's 60. Yeah. Thank you, John. He's 63 years old.
So why does he go to NBA TV or TNT and become an officials expert?
63 years old, and he's still running up and down the court. The guy can't see 2 feet in front of him.
He's got a lot of experience in the league. His expertise certainly would help somebody.
I never liked him. I always thought he was a terrible freaking referee. Now I'm sure of it because when I watch him, when the games are on, I just watch him. I don't watch the game. I watch him to see what that fat bastard does. Okay? He's slow, he's fat, and he can't see.
And does he screw your Knicks, though, Jeff, when he officiates the games?
And he's not quick no more. You have to be quick.
Jeff, do you remember the name Hugh Hollins?
Yeah, I like Hugh Hollins.
Oh, of course. You remember the 1994 series against the Bulls. That was Michael Jordan's full season away from the Bulls.
Joey Crawford, fat bastard, should be out of the NBA.
We have to run to update. Commercial break.
Hey, Joey Crawford, why don't you lose about 15 freaking pounds? Maybe you'll run a little fast, you fat bastard. On that note, we're running to a quick break. You listen to Jeff, Sean, and Frank on
Sports World Radio.
Storms move fast, so we use the best technology. That includes Bosch Icon wiper blades.
They're beam blades with memory tension springs and an aerodynamic design,
which means they fit the curve of the windshield. Bosch Icon wiper blades wiped our windshield clean and outlasted any other blade we've used. In my opinion, the Bosch Icon wiper blades are the best blades out there. Bosch Icon wiper blades, how storm chasers clear the way.
Did you know that just 30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease? For every hour of regular, vigorous exercise, you gain 2 hours of life expectancy. So start walking for yourself and for your heart. Start walking with your family. You'll feel better. Start walking in your community. You'll lead happier and healthier lives. Start walking. Start something. Join the movement today. For more information on the American Heart Association's START program, visit startwalkingnow.org and start walking. Start something.
What kind of person gets to work in the sunshine instead of an office? This kind of person. I am the new way to work. I do have an office. I'm just not chained to it. It's a Regis office at one of the nicest addresses in the city. I don't have a lease, so I don't have to budget for stuff like phones, IT guys, and artwork for the lobby. Instead, I pay one low monthly rate that gives me a beautiful lobby that impresses my clients, a friendly receptionist, a fully furnished office, a place to meet, and a place to brainstorm with my fellow New Way to Workers. We wonder why more people don't realize that the new way to work is the best way to work. I come here because I want to, not because I have to. I am the new way to work, and I'd like you to join me.
Start now and get 1 month free. Call 1-800-OFFICES or visit regis.com/TV.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Eskow, Sean Mann, Frank Sprankles sitting in with us like he always does each and every Tuesday with us here on SportsWorldRadio.com. Frank, what were we talking about during the break? About referees, they shouldn't be going over. They should not. There's only one professional job that should be. What's the word?
There should be an age limit.
Age limit or
here?
Biased or age discriminated against.
Okay, so it should be waived. You're talking about any age discrimination should be
waived for this profession. Yes.
That's how we'll describe it. We'll call it a waiver of age discrimination.
I like that, Frank. I like that. And any professional referee, umpire, right? Major league referee, baseball, NHL, basketball, and NFL. They should not be allowed to ref a game after the age of 55.
Wait a minute. You know what? Encyclopedia Man just made an interesting point. What
did he
about
say?
WWE veteran official Earl Hebner? And Earl
He's
Hebner's
not-
been doing this for years.
Where is he?
He's
Over
60. I can tell you his age.
He's over at TNT,
He is
ain't he?
65 years old.
He's over at TNT, ain't he?
Who, Earl Hebner?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you talking about TNA?
TNA, yeah, TNA.
Yeah, I don't watch TNA. Well, yeah, he is on TNA.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
don't
right.
watch TNA,
Well,
but he's 65
He
years old.
shouldn't be refereeing either because he's not as old. He's not
Earl
as.
Hebner is 65 years old.
He's not. He shouldn't be refereeing either.
Hey, Encyclopedia Man, do you remember on SmackDown in May of 2000 when he had his only match?
He shouldn't be. He should not be wrestling or refereeing because, especially in hockey and in basketball, you're running or skating up and down and back and forth. You got to be in shape to do that. Okay, Joey Crawford, you fat bastard, you ain't in shape.
What about MLB umpires?
Yeah, the MLB umpires, Jeff.
You don't have to be in shape because what type of movement do you have? All you have to do is position yourself for a particular play. If a ball is being thrown down the second from a catcher,
Okay, let me ask you a question.
First, it's breaking. All you have to do is position yourself maybe a little to the right, and you can ask me that question now. What is it?
Okay. You remember Ron Luciano, who used to be a baseball umpire?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, you remember him, right?
Years ago.
Years
Go
ago,
ahead.
right? He was a fat bastard, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. So was Eric Gregg. I remember John McSherry,
Okay.
opening date 1996. Remember, he collapsed at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
That's
and
the
died of a heart
reason.
attack.
That's the reason why. You don't want to be a fat bastard in the middle of the summer with all that stuff on behind home plate. You're going to have a heart attack.
Do you know why MLB umpires look the way they do?
Because they have to look the way they do.
Well, hold
It's in their
on.
bylaws.
But actually, if you take a look at every MLB ballpark,
Fat bastard.
they have an umpire's clubhouse.
I know
what
they
you
do.
will see in the umpire's clubhouse is nothing but spoils. You will see nothing but candy. You will see nothing but pop. You will see nothing but assortment of fatty foods. I mean, go into the MLB umpires clubhouse at Petco Park.
I've gone to the one in Kansas City.
Okay, what have you seen at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, the umpires clubhouse? Tell me.
Don't tell nobody, but I used to take a lot of crap out of there.
What have you seen? Have you seen? Haven't you seen candy and pop and all of that?
I used to take it all back up to the press room with me and eat it during the game.
Bingo!
Heck yeah, you kidding me? That's where the best food was, those fat bastards.
They get it better than the players.
They got freaking licorice down there. They got freaking Reese's Pieces Buttercups down there. They got freaking popcorn down there. They got sour tarts down there. They got
don't forget after the game the fried chicken.
All sorts of crap, man. I used to go down there after the games to interview them to eat their food.
Wait a minute, I have a question. Did they allow you to eat with them?
Huh?
Did they allow you to eat with
Well,
them?
you got to get in there before they get in there or after the game.
Yeah, you know some of these umpires would devour that food.
Yeah, you got to get in there before they get there. So I used to get there like 3-4 hours early before the game.
Go ahead, because I want to make this point.
I used to get there like 3-4 hours before the game. I used to get myself set up in the press box. Then the first thing I would do, I'd go down to the umpire's room. Grab some candy and then go back up.
So let's say an umpire is working a game. He's about 300 pounds, and the game is 7-1, ninth inning. And every umpire has their different strike zone. There really isn't a set strike zone when it comes to umpires, but you can only imagine that some umpires in the ninth inning, knowing the game is out of reach, are going to expand their strike zone just so they can get out of there and eat.
Yeah, and depending on whether it's the first, second, or third game, if it's a third game, they might have to catch a flight.
Right, if it's the finale of, let's say, a 3 or 4 game series.
Right, they might have to catch a flight, so they want to get the hell out of there. That's the best time to go down to their room. Right? It's the last game of the series because whatever they don't eat is there until personnel comes in and cleans it up.
Right, and they're typically in a hurry. Let's say a 4-game series concluded on a Thursday night. Well, they may have to get out of there ASAP to start umping a 3-game series the next night being Friday night. So they may not have time to take advantage of all of the spoils that's nothing but sugared goods.
Right, and when you got a press pass, you pretty much can go anywhere you want.
Except the owner's box.
You pretty much, you can go down to the umpire's room and talk to them and all that. So, no big deal.
Well, Encyclopedia Man had something to say. He said, hey, what about the NFL officials? What about those old people? They have to run and they have to throw the flags the whole game. Answer that one.
You don't see
Look
any.
At Ed Hockley.
He's not.
That guy.
He's not a fat.
Ed Hockley.
Ed Hockey League ain't a fat bastard.
Dude, haven't you ever seen the guys? I've been to an NFL game in which Ed Hockley has worked. Have you ever seen this guy? I mean, have you ever seen this guy's muscles stand out of his zebra shirt?
Yeah, he should be a bodybuilder instead of a freaking referee at Hockey League.
But dude, he keeps himself in shape because of the game of football.
I know, Joey Crawford.
It's a quick game.
Hey, Joey Crawford, you fat bastard, take a page out of Ed Hockey League's book, will you?
Maybe he needs to start training with weights. And I do that. I exercise 6 days a week.
You know what Joey Crawford
Saturday.
You know what Joey Crawford trains with? 12 ounces.
The what?
12 ounces. That's what he lifts. 12 ounces, you fat drinking bastard. I can't stand Joey Crawford. I can't. Every time I see him referee, I'm like, look at that fat bastard running up and down the court.
He probably would say,
he doesn't.
Well, how would you like me to be an NBA coach? I could do a very good job of coaching just
like
I did
then
this
he can,
NBA.
then he can get as fat as he wants. It doesn't matter then. You get as fat as you want when you're a coach. You ain't doing nothing. Fat bastard. How can you be that fat and be a referee?
Hey, by the way, I want to get back to the WWE because Encyclopedia Men mentioned Earl Hebner. You know he has a twin named Dave Hebner, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need to see at WrestleMania. We do need to see
twin
versus
already.
twin. A couple of these 65-year-old twins going at it next year at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Encyclopedia Men picked the match.
It's bad enough that Ric Flair's coming back at the age of 60, okay?
Bring him back to the WWE. Have them retire in a match at WrestleMania. Twin versus twin. What's the Encyclopedia Man can come up with the match?
Brother versus brother, twin versus twin. The loser gets their head shaved, so you can tell them apart. No, that's ridiculous. Okay, so I want to. I know for a fact, dude. We're gonna run to a break a little bit early because I want to get on into this. In fact, we're gonna go to a break now. So on the others, oh wow, I don't even have any of the commercials up yet. Wow, I'm really doing my job. You guys got me talking so bad I didn't even put any of the commercials in here.
So wait, we don't have sponsors? We can't brainwash people in the buying a certain product at the moment?
No, of course I can. Hey, listen. I can always brainwash sponsors, man. I got no problem doing that. Now we can run to a quick commercial break. And then the other side of this commercial break, I know for a fact that Frank wants to talk some Tony Gwynn, so we'll do that.
Absolutely. Got some interesting stats, Jeff.
Right. We'll do that right after this. You're listening to Jeff, Frank, and Sean on Sports World Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to the final update here for Sports World Radio. We're going to start in the NBA.
Hey, Sean.
NBA final.
Sean, it is the final update, right? Okay.
I did say.
I know that. Update. I know that. So hold on, because we have a sponsor for this update. So this sponsor.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, that's a nice drum roll. This update is brought to you by ShirtShopper.net. Head on over to ShirtShopper.net. They got some really killer T-shirts over there. All the T-shirts you need. I noticed the other day that they had some great Father's Day T-shirts, but since Father's Day passed. But if you're a bacon lover, they got some bacon T-shirts. Head on over to ShirtShopper.net and check out their T-shirts. I also know that they have some WWE T-shirts over there. So head on over to ShirtShopper.net. Now, take it away, Sean, man, with the final update of the day.
Now, here we go for the final update for Sports World Radio. Welcome, everybody, to the final. NBA Finals, as you know, is all over with. The Spurs NBA champions are getting ready to have their big NBA parade. I think it's going to be tomorrow in San Antonio, Texas, as the Spurs have won for the 5th time in their franchise history. As for the Miami Heat, a lot of decisions to make. Nobody knows what's going to happen with LeBron or Wade or Bosh. Will the big three stay together? Or will the big three split apart? Or will Carmelo Anthony just decide to say, Pat Riley, I'm going to help your team out. I want to come there and sign with the Heat. And when we can have the big, fabulous, hardcore four, we shall see what happens. In the NHL, the hockey season is all over with and done with as the Los Angeles Kings had their parade yesterday. They won on Friday by a score of 3-2 in double overtime. Now, Major League Baseball, here's what we got. Games for tonight. We'll start in the American League. The Angels and the Indians. Right now, the Angels top second. They lead 1-0. A big matchup in the Bronx this week as the Blue Jays are taking on the Yankees. And right now, the Blue Jays are on the board 1-0 on a Jose Reyes home run. The Tigers are hosting a Royals team that has won 7 straight games. And everybody's wondering, could this be the year the Royals could be the surprise team? Just like the Pirates. They're up 2-0, top of the second inning. Twins and the Red Sox right now, it's 0-0 at Fenway Park. Game is in the bottom of the first. Orioles and Rays down in St. Petersburg, bottom first. The score is 0-0. 2 games for interleague play. 1-win final today. The Padres, Mariners. The Mariners take it 6-1. And, of course, the other one that we have tonight, the Giants at the White Sox. Now back to the American League. Late game tonight, it'll be the Rangers taking on the Athletics. Switching from the American League to the National League, the Nationals have a 1-0 lead against the Astros, bottom of the first inning. Reds over the Pirates by a score of 1-0. Phillies have struck for 2 runs on a Ryan Howard 2-run home run, bottom of the first inning down in Atlanta. The Marlins over the Cubs 1-0. That game's in the top of the second. And here are the other games that we have scheduled for tonight. It'll be the Mets at the Cardinals, Brewers at the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies taking on the Dodgers. Major League Baseball, of course, has sad news to report. As you mentioned, we'll be talking about this after the update. Tony Gwynn, great baseball player, full of class, had 3,141 hits, I believe it was. Passed away yesterday at the age of 54. A lot of sadness in San Diego, so the thoughts and prayers go out to the Gwynn family. In other news to report from Major League Baseball, of course, Don Zimmer, rest in peace as well. He passed away a few weeks ago. And, of course, on Friday night, the NFL lost a true legend from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Chuck Noll. We will be right back after this commercial break. And remember, this update was brought to you by ShirtShopper.net.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Man comes with a multifunctional casing known as skin. It is remarkable. Warning, standard body wash can cause damage to man's skin. Maintain it properly with Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. It cleans man and protects skin from dryness. This will keep man's skin remarkable, even under extreme testing. Dove Men Plus Care Body Wash. Skin care built in. Also, freshen man's exterior with new Aqua Impact Body Wash.
Why does consultant Jerry Howell stay at La Quinta?
Can you come back tomorrow?
Because only with La Quinta can Jerry instant hold the room tonight using just his phone number. And then power down for tomorrow on his pillow top bed. And when Jerry's refreshed, you know what he does?
We need ideas, people. Think. Synergistic integration. Genius.
He thinks outside the box.
I'm going for it. No.
La Quinta Inns and Suites take care of you so you can take care of business. Instant hold your next stay on your smartphone at LQ.com.
La Quinta.
My mother made the best toffee in the world. It's delicious. So now we've turned her toffee into a business. My goal was to take an idea and make it happen. I'm Janet Long, and I formed my toffee company through LegalZoom. I never really thought I would make money doing what I love.
We created LegalZoom to help people start their business and launch their dreams. Go to LegalZoom.com today and make your business dream a reality. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Hey everybody, this is Sky, and when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right, welcome back to Sports World Radio. Jeff Escow, Sean Mann, and Frank Sprankle joining us like it does each and every Tuesday and Thursday in the second half of the show. And the reason why I say the second half is because Sean and I do this show every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. in the East, 3 p.m. in the West. And if you live in the Central,
figure it out for yourself, because I don't know what the heck the time is.
6:34 p.m.
right now it's 6:34 p.m. But what time is it in the Central if it's 6 o'clock in the East?
5 o'clock.
There you go.
Hey, what time is it in the mountains? If we're in Denver, Colorado. Hey, I got better. If we're in Honolulu, Hawaii, what is it in Honolulu right now?
Right now, it's 1:34.
Wow, 1:34. So it's still the afternoon, still plenty of daylight. No, this is the best time of the year because there's more daylight.
Yeah, they're Hawaii's 3 hours behind me.
So to the west, it's Hawaii, and to the east, it's New York.
Yeah, so like right now it's 4:34 here, it's 1:34 in Hawaii, and it's 7:34 in New York. I just did all of that off the top of my head. That's pretty damn good. If you ask me what time it is in the Central, go screw yourself. Okay, listen, really quick, we're going to get into some Tony Gwynn stuff, but I wanted to do this because I wanted Frank on the line with us when we did this. I want to give a moment of silence for Tony Gwynn and his family, and the San Diego Padres, and the city of San Diego. So please indulge me in a moment of silence for Mr. Padre Tony Gwynn. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you, Tony Gwynn, for all that you did. Now, I also know for a fact that Mr. Frank Sprankle has a little story that combines Tony Gwynn and Don Zimmer. So I kind of find it kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing this. So take it away, Frank.
All right, Jeff, Sean, look, I've been going to Wrigley Field every year since 1986. I've seen the Cubs and White Sox play every year since then, but of course the Cubs have only played in one park since 86, and that has been going back to 1916, and that's Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field did not get lights, of course, until August of 1988. Now, the following season, I did have a chance to go to my first ever night game at Wrigley Field. It was a Saturday night, April the 29th, 1989, and the Cubs were hosting the San Diego Padres. Who was in the dugout for the Cubs managing that ball club that night, eventually to a playoff appearance? Don Zimmer.
What year was that, Frank?
Who was batting cleanup for the San Diego Padres that night and playing center field? Tony Gwynn. And that night, in a 5-4 win on the part of the Padres over the Cubs, Gwynn went 2 for 4, tallied up a run, and was on base a third time with a base on ball. As mentioned, the Padres won 5-4. That was my first ever night game at Wrigley Field that featured Tony Gwynn in the cleanup spot, Don Zimmer managing the Chicago Cubs. And what was cool on my behalf, considering I was almost 8 years old at the time, I got a Cubs jacket because it was jacket night at the ballpark. My first ever night game at Wrigley Field. I had seen Tony Gwynn a few other times in the years to come against the Cubs, but that was the first time I ever saw Tony Gwynn. Was my first night game at Wrigley Field, gentlemen.
What year was that?
April the 29th, 1989. It was a Saturday night, and I can tell you the start time of that game was 6:37 p.m. in the time zone that you two gentlemen tell everybody to figure out for themselves.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I had a couple of run-ins with Tony myself.
By the way, I want to say that both hits were doubles on the part of Gwynn that night. Both hits were doubles for Tony Gwynn.
38 minutes past the hour as we're talking about the tribute to Tony Gwynn, one of the great baseball players, full of class. He used to work with ESPN. He used to do Baseball Tonight. He used to even cover a lot of games. The Padre legend, Jeff and Frank, my thoughts and prayers are with them. And Frank, what was your first thoughts when you heard about that yesterday morning? You see it. For me, I was stunned. I was like,
yeah,
oh
I was
God.
too. Absolutely, Sean. No question about it. I was shocked too. Take into account he had been battling cancer for the last few years, but you had not heard much about Tony Gwynn actually facing cancer. If indeed he did succumb to cancer, but apparently everybody did a good job that knew about it, keeping it concealed, because he had signed an extension to become of course, he had been the skipper at San Diego State for their baseball program. He had signed an extension. So nobody in their right mind could have pictured that Tony Gwynn was suffering from any further health problems. When I saw it yesterday morning and I was doing Press Row Central with Nicholas Spiva, obviously I was saddened, but there's another word to that sadness too, and that was shocked. My eyes expanded like balloons because I could not believe, as sad as I was, how shocked I was yesterday morning, Monday morning, to hear that Tony Gwynn had passed away at the age of 54. So I can only describe it in two words, guys. Sad, shocked.
Yeah, I was too, both times. I turned my computer on and I saw an article headline that said Gwynn dies at the age of 54. I said, Gwynn? What Gwynn is that? So I clicked on it, and then I saw the picture of Tony Gwynn. I was like, oh, my eyes just bulged, widened right out, and my jaw dropped.
Today, here's what Tony Gwynn Jr. said. Today, I lost my dad, my best friend, and my mentor. I'm going to miss you so much, Pops. I'm going to do everything in my power to continue to make you proud. That's what Tony Gwynn Jr. said on his Twitter yesterday. Right. And for me, I was sad, too. And here's what Mike Piazza said on his Twitter. My deepest prayers and condolences to the family of Tony Gwynn. No player carried himself with more class, dignity, and kindness. So shock and sadness throughout the whole Major League Baseball world. Not just San Diego, but everybody else who knew the man. And, of course, my memory, Frank, I'll never forget this, too. 99 All-Star game.
Oh, Fenway I knew Park. You were going in this direction, Sean. Yeah, I knew it.
Fenway Park hosted the All-Star game. Homer. Ted Williams came out in the golf cart, and it was so cool because Tony Gwynn was showing Williams where to throw the ball because he was doing the ceremonial first pitch. It was pretty cool. And as a matter of fact, Tony Gwynn learned a lot more of the hitting from Ted Williams.
Homer.
They had a good friendship.
Homer.
There's no question about it. And, I got to give you some interesting stats along the lines of Tony Gwynn here. First of all, if you look at Tony Gwynn, there is one tragedy to his playing career, and it's a matter of what could have been in 1994 if the strike did not hit on August of that year. And it's hard to believe it's been 20 years since the strike because, gentlemen, 110 games played for Tony Gwynn that season until the strike. His batting average was .394, and everybody was definitely, all right, Ted Williams, the last player at that point to hit 400, and to this point, the only player to hit 400 in a season the last time around.
He would have done it for sure.
I think he would have, no question about it, because he was pure contact. You never thought of Tony Gwynn as being a home run hitter, and definitely 135 home runs over 20 years. That proves the point exactly. But here's something else I want to prove. Tony Gwynn, I mean, who would you guys say is the best hitter in baseball today?
Tony Gwynn? Oh, today?
Today. Active.
I don't know. I don't watch much baseball anymore.
I'm going to say it's Miguel Cabrera. And here's something I want to point out in terms of Miguel Cabrera and Tony Gwynn.
Well, last couple
if you
of years
look at Miguel Cabrera, and by the way, Tony Gwynn never won an MVP. Miguel Cabrera has won the last 2 MVPs, and of course the Triple Crown 2 years ago.
Yeah, but how many batting titles does he have?
Exactly. But here's something I want to point out too. If you look at Cabrera right now, lifetime career batting average, .321. Tony Gwynn's batting average was .338 over 20 seasons. And that is 17 points better in terms of Gwynn's overall batting average as opposed to Cabrera. But here's what I want to really bring out in terms of great importance. If you take a look at Miguel Cabrera in 12 seasons, this is his 12th season in the major leagues, Miguel Cabrera has averaged 104 strikeouts per season, Do you guys want to guess how many strikeouts Tony Gwynn averaged in his career per season in the 20 seasons played?
What was that?
22 strikeouts per season.
Yeah, that's
22 strikeouts
per
season for Tony Gwynn in 20 seasons played.
And how about this stat too, Frank? Gwynn hit safely in 1,838 games, which amount to 75.3% of those in which he played. In addition, Tony Gwynn had 951 multi-hit games, reached hitting streaks of at least 10 games on 33 different occasions, and had 34 multi-strikeout games. The guy's unbelievable.
Hey, do you know some guys strike out 22 times in a month?
I'm sure it's happened for a number of players. You have players that do go in the slumps. You have great players in this game today that go in the slumps. Maybe they're hitting around $150, 200, and yes, they're having problems staying mentally focused. That yes, they do strike out constantly. But Tony Gwynn, what slump did he ever have during his career? I can't think of any.
22 times a year at over 1,000 bats a year, right?
Guys, all right, guys. What was outside of Tony Gwynn's first year in the majors, and that was 1982 when he was a call-up, only playing 54 games. He hit 289. His lowest batting average was 309, and he did that twice. He did that in 1983. He played in 86 games, and then he hit 309 in 1990. 309, that is great for many ball players. 309 was Tony Gwynn's lowest batting average outside of the – I'm not even going to count 1982 here.
No, I agree with you. Hey, guys, we're about to a quick commercial break. You're listening to Jeff, Sean, and Frank on
Sports World Radio.
Every parent wants the safest and healthiest products for their family. That's why I created The Honest Company. I was just a concerned mom with a crazy dream. A wish that there was a company that I could rely on that did all of the hard work for me. I'm Jessica Alba, and The Honest Company was my dream.
LegalZoom has helped 1 million businesses successfully get started, including Jessica's. Launch your dream at LegalZoom today. Call us. We're here to help.
I had PTSD. Once I was back from Iraq, I was distant from everybody in my family.
We had a reunion of our unit, and you'd hear these spouses say, "Is your husband doing that? My husband's doing that too. I thought it was just us." And really understanding that, hey, this is a common experience.
I learned more to listen to what he was saying, and that made it easier for me to understand where his pain was coming from.
Warriors should know that resources are available. Learn more at realwarriors.net.
Confusion ever someone or have sudden you trouble had speaking, understanding?
Understanding trouble? Have you sudden have or speaking someone ever confusion?
Have you ever had sudden confusion, trouble speaking, or understanding someone?
It could be one of the 5 signs of stroke.
Sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg.
Sudden trouble with vision in one or both eyes.
Suddenly having trouble walking or difficulty with balance.
Or a sudden intense headache that comes out of nowhere.
If you or someone you know has any of these symptoms, don't wait. Call 911 immediately. You could make a difference in someone's life, someone you love, maybe even your own.
It's late until, wait, don't too. Don't wait until it's too late.
Time lost is brain lost.
Find out more at powertoendstroke.org. Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, this is Sky. And when I want to know what's going on in the wonderful world of sports, I tune to Sports World Radio.
All right. Sports World Radio. Glad everybody could be with us. We're in the final segment of the final hour of the show. Frank Sprankle, Sean Mann, Jeff Escow with you guys here, sportsworldradio.com. Want to get in touch with the show, 619-663-3715, 619-663-3715. Before we went to break, we were talking about the passing of Tony Gwynn. And just everybody's giving out their memories and whatnot. What else you got, Frank? You got some stats. More stats, Frank?
Well, certainly more stats. And here's something I want to bring up in terms of who I think was a great hitter for that era, and his career pretty much overlapped with Tony Gwynn's, even though he made his major league debut before Gwynn, and that's Eddie Murray. I mean, take a look at Eddie Murray here. Eddie Murray may have accomplished more in terms of him hitting 500 homers and 3,000 hits. Many players have not done that. If you look at the history of Major League Baseball, Murray hit 504 homers, 3,255 hits by Murray. That's more than actually Tony Gwynn accomplished, but he only hit 287. However, if you take a look at Eddie Murray and Tony Gwynn, these two guys were really the best hitters for that particular era. Sure, you have maybe Rafael Palmeiro having hit for that era too, 500 homers and 3,000 hits, but the guy took steroids. I can't put him in that company, and that's where I want to go with this next topic here, gentlemen. If you look at really Tony Gwynn after the strike of 1994, his popularity really wasn't there, especially in the late 1990s, because we were in a love affair obsession with the home run ball. And we know Tony Gwynn was not a home run hitter. He was a pure contact hitter, could hit for singles and doubles especially, but we were in love too much with the home run ball, especially with what Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were doing in the late 90s, 1998 specifically. And sure enough, we know about them now. I think because of the steroid era, the later years of Tony Gwynn's career meant that Tony Gwynn quite wasn't as popular as he should have been, because little did we know, gentlemen, little did we know about some of these hitters.
Well, see, well, living in San Diego, I got to totally disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Because he was popular the whole time he was playing for the Padres.
Maybe in San Diego, but I'm talking about across the country. Tony Gwynn didn't quite capture that national attention as the home run hitters, because you had ball players. You had 8 to 9 out of 10 ball players on steroids. Tony Gwynn was in that 2 and 1 because Tony Gwynn was not on steroids.
You also knew when Tony Gwynn came up to bat that 90% of the time he was going to either get a hit, he was going to get contact on the ball, because he just never struck out. These other guys,
I think many people in the late 90s, Jeff, were bored of just the contact hit, hitting the ball up the middle for a single, maybe poking it into the corner for a double on a line drive down the right field line. People were in love with the home run ball. And maybe not in San Diego. I'm not talking about San Diego. I'm talking about the baseball world. I'm talking about around the country and even abroad. People were talking about the home run chases that we were seeing year in and year out in the late 1990s and into the early part of the 2000s as Tony Gwynn's career was coming to an end.
No, I know that. No, I agree with you, because that was the big thing. But believe it or not, back in 1998, that's not how the Padres got to the World Series. They got to the World Series by playing baseball the way it should be played.
Well, what about the Yankees, too? They had obviously a better lineup.
They got to the World Series by
Padres, but you never. I know, Sean. Yes. I know your love affair with Boston sports, but you had two teams that at least we know about did not have anybody juicing it up.
But Tony Gwynn did hit a home run in the World Series at Yankee Stadium.
That was Game 1, and that was what put the Padres up 5-2.
I remember that now. Thank you for.
Yeah, and San Diego was blew that game, but he hit a bomb in that World Series. That almost could have hurt the Yankees, because you got to remember that year the Yankees went 114-48. San Diego was kind of this team that nobody really expected to get there that year. A lot of people picked them to be out.
Why do I have a feeling that may have been Tony Gwynn's only home run ever hit in an American League ballpark?
I don't know. You'd have to check that.
That's what I'm checking up.
He didn't play in many American League ballparks. He played for the Padres his whole career.
Well, I would like to say that interleague play, and of course you did have interleague play in the later years of Gwynn's career, because interleague play came about in 1997, but until 2001, it wasn't until 2002 that you started playing within your regional divisions. Because remember, in the case of Tony Gwynn, National League West, they played teams from 1997 to 2001 in the American League West.
I would check Seattle.
Seattle?
Yes. Check. He might have hit a home run there, because they played a lot. They played Seattle a lot.
Yeah, but are we talking about the Kingdome here, or are we talking about Safeco?
It doesn't matter. An American League Park is an American League Park, right?
Just curious.
right? Doesn't matter.
That is true. Yes, you're right. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what I have to say.
I doubt it's Safeco. Didn't they move in there after Tony retired?
No, they moved in there at the All-Star break 1999. As a matter of fact,
No, Frank, it was not 1999. The Mariners moved to Safeco Field in 2000. Their last year in the Kingdom was 1999.
All right. It was around that point.
And when did Tony retire?
2001. He retired the same year as Cal Ripken Jr.
Right, 2001.
And they both were first ballot Hall of Famers in 07.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
The players, of course, as you mentioned, Frank, they went on strike in August of 94, and Tony didn't get the chance to do the same thing as Fred Ted Williams had done. Whenever an athlete nears an achievement, part of the conversation is whether he or she will melt under pressure, whether the scrutiny will reduce them. And like we've talked about before, that anniversary coming up, the 20 years since the strike in baseball, I've always wondered, Jeff and Frank, what would have happened if we didn't have gone on strike? What would have happened is Tony Gwynn would have broken Williams' record. The Expos would have made the playoffs that year because they were the 76-48 team. But then it all fell through because of the doggone strike in Major League Baseball.
Expos.
Wait a minute. What about the home run chase? We had a home run chase even before Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Remember
Yes,
Ken
we
Griffey
did.
Jr. and Matt Williams pursuing Roger Maris's record? And you never heard of speculation between these two guys of having juiced it up. And that was really part of the steroid era, even though I don't think it was widespread until after the strike. But yes, you're right. We had so much going on, not to mention it was also the first year of the 3 divisional play and 1 wild card. Of course, you have the 1-game playoff in each league with the 2 wild cards playing for that additional playoff spot. But that was the first year in which baseball went to 3 divisions and 1 wild card. It was Major League Baseball's 125th anniversary season. They had a gold patch. Every Major League Ball club did it on the sleeve of their jersey. I would like to say it was on the right sleeve. I got to tell you, gentlemen, I really think somebody should write a book, if not myself, and call it The Greatest Baseball Season That Never Was.
That is true. And remember, opening day of 95, I'll never forget that, just how baseball fans, it took them a long time to come back to watch the game because people were still very fed up with how that strike went down.
Well,
but
it's also
at least it wasn't like the NHL, okay? Suppose MLB would have canceled the whole season of 94, then that would have taken them years to come back. But with NHL, people are still trying to come back to watch the game, but people don't trust Gary Bettman now.
By the way, I just want to, Sean, not to correct you here, but I was right. Safeco Field opened on July 15th, 1999, and I did say it was against the Padres. I was
I thought
right.
It was 2000.
No, I'm trying to see if Tony Gwynn actually played in that game, and apparently for what I'm seeing, he did not play in that game, by the way. So Tony Gwynn did not play in the inaugural game at Safeco Field. And I remember, it's kind of strange as it sounds, it opened halfway during a season. You seldom see that. It has happened before, but a ballpark opening midway during a season, typically I think a ballpark or a new sports venue should open at the beginning of the next season.
Right, me too.
And it should always open for the regular season and not exhibition. But I'll say this, Tony Gwynn, obviously great character, and baseball was a better game because Tony Gwynn took to the field for the San Diego Padres in 20 seasons. 20 seasons with one team? That's remarkable these days, guys. Remarkable, unheard of, unprecedented in this era of baseball.
You won't ever see that again. Never. Because nobody plays 20 years anymore anyway.
20 years? No, because the money is so great. That just comes to show you how much Tony Gwynn loved playing the game of baseball and how much it was important for him to stay within the game of baseball.
Well,
he did some broadcasting work, but his true passion post-playing career was teaching the game to a bunch of college kids, and that's why he coached at San Diego State, his alma mater. And he was also drafted by the Clippers, too.
And here's the amazing thing about it, too, with Tony Gwynn, okay? His dream actually was to go into the NBA. He actually wanted to become a professional basketball player, but he couldn't get it worked out. So after he graduated from San Diego State University, he decided to go to MLB, and he went with the San Diego Padres, which was a good choice because that's his home, because he went to SDSU. And Jeff, have you since you've lived in San Diego, have you met him before?
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times. I was actually working for a delivery company and had to pick something up from the San Diego State baseball team, and it said, "See Tony Gwynn." So I actually went into his head coaching office and had picked something up from him personally, and I knew I was going to see him. So I took something that I think I had a picture at the time of him, and I took it with me, and I had him sign it, and now I can't find it. My sister came out of her room yesterday and said, "Hey Jeff, look," and showed me the Tony Gwynn bobblehead that she has. I said, "Too bad it's not signed," we also have the Wheaties box with Tony Gwynn on the front cover.
And I remember he did Denny's commercials too at one point during his career. Advertising those Grand Slam breakfasts and a deal that Major League Baseball had. I think it was for commemorative
and they still play
plates or something like that. I remember.
They still play his Ford commercials out here. He represents Ford in El Cajon, where I live. They're still playing his commercials. I just saw one today.
God bless Tony Gwynn. Yeah. My sympathies go out to the entire family of Tony Gwynn.
Mine too. Hey, we're
guy.
We're getting the flock out of here. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us today. We'll be back tomorrow for another fun-filled 2 hours. Until then, my friends, remember, you only have one life to live. Live it long, live it strong, and live it proud. And please don't forget, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Peace out. For Sean Mann, Frank Sprankle, I'm Jeff Escow. This has been Sports World Radio. Adios.
Good night and good luck.
Hey, boys, Stimpy. We sure had fun today, didn't we? So long, kids. Come on, Stimpy, say goodbye.
Where are we going?